Hello everyone, I'm Nadia Munla. I'm an embodiment and intimacy coach, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about feeling really exhausted, like you are championing your relationship and you just feel really stuck. So one thing I always like to think about here, and this is actually a frame that was introduced to me by one of my love coaches previously, whose name is Annie Lala. And she likes to talk about this, and there's different people who talk about it using different words, but the idea of, there's a me person and a we person in the relationship. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's always one person who's very much a stand for individual needs, and then there's one person who tends to be a stand for the unit's needs, the community's needs, right? In this case, it's the couple's needs. And so there's the me person and there's the we person. And most of the time when my clients come to me, generally, although it's not always the case, but very often the women tend to be the we person. And this is, I'm not going to get into it too much, but this is partly, you can read a book called The Female Brain by Louise Brizendine. I think I'm going to say her name right, and we'll make sure to link to it as well. And in there, she really breaks down and sort of shows us how over the years our social roles affected our physiology, in particular the way our brain works. And so actually women are very often wired physiologically in such a way that we tend to be more web thinking. We think through the we spectrum, the we lens a little bit more. But again, that is just a generalization and it is not across the board. But that's generally why I have found the phenomena of like so many women coming to me and feeling like I'm here, like I'm all in, I'm on the team, like I'm trying everything, I'm exhausted and nothing is working. I feel totally stuck, right? And here's what the prescription I usually give them is starting to look at how you need to champion the me. Not only because the idea is that you want to, of course, balance out and regulate your capacity to be in the me and in the we, but it's also because often we think we are all in, we think we are championing, we truly feel like we're giving it our all, but we are not on the team of me. And if you're not also on the team of me, you simply just can't be on the team of we. And here's why. Because often what happens is there is a lack of truly honoring, owning, and claiming your own desires, your individual desires within the unit. And by not doing that through a few different ways, and this goes to both essentially disconnecting from your inner masculine and your inner feminine. And so with your inner feminine, when you're sort of moving away from your inner feminine, what you're doing is you're sort of silencing your expression. You're not speaking to your pain. You're squelching down and keeping quiet about certain things. And then with your inner masculine, you're not honoring and standing by your inner masculine or cultivating your inner masculine because you are not really working on your capacity to self-regulate, to essentially mother your own inner child, which even though it's mothering, it is actually a very masculine role in that it is, it's very much about being the director, being the commander, being the structure, being the container, right? When you think about a mother taking care of her children, that job, although it may have certain feminine qualities, is also it requires a lot of the characteristics of more, what we typically would consider masculine or alpha or sort of young characteristics. And so So here what happens is there is sort of this dishonoring of your inner feminine, dishonoring of your inner masculine, and an inability to really speak your truth and explain and honor your own boundaries here. And so it is literally impossible, even though, you know, we think there's a lot of this sort of like a martyr syndrome that comes up in relationship, like, but I do this and I do that and I'm always being so good and I do this other thing, and it's like all this sacrifice and it's just this laundry list of all the things that I do, as though there's this, as though you're on the team. And I can see where that's coming from. That's a situation I've been in before. We all can fall into that trap, but I'm here to tell you that actually what you may have in the past considered more quote unquote selfish, more about you, but is actually about feeding the team, feeding the we. By taking care of the me, you're able to create the we. But it's really hard when we go straight into the we and don't address the me, right? And so this is just a really important concept to start to look at and explore. Oh, where might I be doing this? Where are the places where I'm sort of sneaking in the story of I'm giving it all, but in fact what I'm doing is I'm avoiding what actually feels the hardest for me, which is not giving my everything, but it's actually speaking my truth, holding my boundaries, you know, getting clear on what I need, and also taking the time to self-regulate, honor myself before I show up into the dynamic, and work on that capacity of sovereignty within the unit. So I'm curious how this works out for you. Try it out, see what it looks like to look at your dynamic in your relationship through this lens, and just notice, are you more the me person, or are you more the we person, and what needs to shift in this dynamic for it to be more balanced and more healthy? Let me know.